This is the 8th gate of Kammasaka Zen, known as Samu, or mindful effort. This is Dharma talk number 8. And this is the interconnection of the 8th gate of Kammasaka, Samu, the 8th ox-herding picture, both ox and self-forgotten, the koan, empty-handed I go, and behold the spade in my hands, the 6th step on the eightfold path, known as right effort, and now also the 4th perfection, the perfection of energy. In Zen practice, profound concepts are often expressed through paradoxical imagery, evocative koans, and interconnected teachings. These elements, they converge in the 8th gate of Kammasaka, because here at the monastery, Samu, or mindful effort, it's important because it serves as the nexus for understanding the 8th ox-herding picture, for understanding the koan, empty-handed I go, behold the spade in my hands. Also the 6th step of the eightfold path, known as right effort. And now, introduction to also the 4th perfection, the perfection of energy. So together these teachings illuminate the path of mindful activity, transcendent effort, and the integration of form and formless in the realization of the way. So the term Samu refers to work performed with mindfulness. And this effort, this mindful effort, it's a cornerstone of Zen practice. And here at the monastery, the 8th gate emphasizes the sacred nature of everyday activities. Whether somebody is simply raking leaves in the Buddha garden, or preparing food in one of the kitchens, or is simply sweeping the zendo or vacuuming the zendo floor. Samu transforms the mundane into a vessel for awakening. And this teaching, it aligns with the Zen view that every moment contains the potential, or at least kensho, initial opening of the mind's eye, if not a movement onto satori, enlightenment. And then through mindful effort, practitioners can engage fully with the present, simply dissolving the boundaries between doer, the action, and the result. So Samu's sacred dimension lies in its simplicity and purity. And when one practices mindful effort, the ego recedes and then action arises. And it arises spontaneously from a place of presence. And this echoes the Zen saying, before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. So the 8th gate reminds us that awakening does not require retreating from the world, but rather engaging with it, wholly and attentively. And through mindful effort, the practitioner learns to embody non-duality. The work and the worker become one. the division between the sacred and the ordinary dissolves. The seeker in the eighth ox herding picture, he has transcended both the ox, symbolizing the mind, or the ultimate reality, has transcended that and the self. So the ox itself is no longer an object to be sought or tamed, because the dualistic distinction between seeker and sought has simply dissolved. In this particular ox herding picture, the picture depicts a blank circle, simply signifying emptiness and the formless essence of reality. This stage is profoundly connected to the eighth gate, because in both teachings, effort becomes effortless as the practitioner ceases to strive from a place of attachment or identification. And Samu, performed in this state, it embodies the principle of wu-wei, action through non-action. Because just as the seeker in the eighth gate, the seeker in the eighth picture is no longer clings to notions of self or enlightenment, the practitioner of mindful effort no longer labours under the illusion of separateness. So, in this state of being, work is no longer seen as a means to an end, but simply as an expression of the eternal present. Whether we're sweeping the floor or planting seeds in the garden, it becomes a celebration of existence itself, free from the constraints of past and future. And the eighth picture and the eighth gate, they converge. They converge in their teaching that effort, grounded in mindfulness, it leads to exhaustion. Not to exhaustion, but to liberation. And then the koan, empty-handed I go, behold the spade in my hands. Now these koans, these paradoxical riddles, we use them in Zen to try and transcend logical reasoning and to get the student to provoke direct insight. And this particular koan, empty-handed I go, behold the spade in my hands, it encapsulates the essence of mindful effort and also the paradoxical nature of non-duality. But at first glance, this koan appears contradictory. How can one be empty-handed yet possess a spade? This contradiction reflects the Zen teaching that emptiness and form are not opposites, but rather they are interdependent. Because it's telling us that to be empty-handed is to be free from clinging and identification, while the spade represents the tools and the actions that we use in everyday life. So the koan, it challenges the practitioner. It challenges the practitioner to realise that true freedom, it lies not in rejecting the world, but rather in engaging with it, and doing so without attachment. And in the context of the eighth gate, this koan illuminates the paradox of effort. The practitioner works diligently, yet their work arises from a place of emptiness and an absence of egoic striving. Similarly, in the eighth ox herding picture, the seeker realizes that enlightenment is not found by abandoning the world, but by fully inhabiting it. And the spade becomes a symbol of sacred activity, wielded without self-consciousness or attachment to outcomes. And then right effort, the sixth step of the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path. Right effort, it underscores the importance of cultivating wholesome states of mind, while at the same time abandoning unwholesome ones. As I mentioned in the last video, the last Dharma talk, it involves 4 key dimensions: preventing unwholesome states from arising, abandoning states from arising, abandoning unwholesome states that have already arisen, and cultivating wholesome states that have already arisen, and maintaining those wholesome states. This teaching aligns seamlessly with the principle of samu, because mindful effort, it requires vigilance and discernment to ensure that one's actions arise from a place of wisdom and compassion, rather than from delusion or greed. Or attachment to outcomes. So when performing samu, practitioners embody right effort by maintaining focus, releasing distractions, and working with clarity and presence. Right effort also emphasises balance, neither laxity or overexertion. And this balance is reflected in the eighth ox herding picture, where the seeker has let go of both striving and stagnation. Similarly, the koan, empty-handed I go and behold the spade in my hands. It suggests a balance between emptiness and engagement. So, in all cases, effort becomes a natural extension of being, free from dualities of success and failure, self and other. And then the cultivation of the fourth perfection is representative of energetic perseverance. In the Mahayana tradition, this perfection is not merely about physical or mental stamina, but it's about the joyful and sustained effort that simply arises from a deep connection to the Dharma. So the perfection of energy, it calls practitioners to engage wholeheartedly with their practice and fueled by an unwavering commitment to awakening. This teaching is vividly embodied in samu. Because mindful effort transforms labour into a practice of joyful perseverance. Whether one is sweeping the zendo or carrying water, the activity becomes a manifestation simply of the fourth perfection, when it's performed with energy and dedication. However, this energy is not forceful or strained, but rather it flows naturally from the practitioner's alignment with the present moment. So the perfection of energy, it also resonates with the eighth ox herding picture. The seeker's joy in the formlessness of the ox, and the self reflects the boundless energy of one who no longer struggles. Struggles against the current of life. So, in this state, energy is not something to be generated or controlled, but it's a natural expression of the unity between the individual and the whole. While in the eighth gate of Kammasaka Zen, the eighth ox herding picture, the koan, empty-handed I go, behold the spade in my hands, and then also in right effort, and the perfection of energy, each offer distinct insights, but they converge in their shared emphasis on the integration of that effort, integration of mindfulness, and also its transcendence. So, at their core, these teachings guide practitioners towards a life of engaged presence. Effort, whether in meditational work or daily life, it can become a sacred act, simply when it's performed with mindfulness. So the practitioner learns to move beyond dualities, beyond effort and rest, beyond emptiness and form, self and other, to simply embody the unity of the way. The eighth ox herding picture captures this unity visually, while the koan expresses it paradoxically. Right effort provides the practical framework for cultivating the unity. And the perfection of energy reminds practitioners to approach their effort simply with joy, but also with perseverance. So ultimately these teachings, they point to a profound realization that enlightenment is not a distant goal to be attained, but rather it is an ever-present reality to simply be embodied. And the spade in the empty hands of the empty-handed practitioner symbolizes the seamless integration of the sacred and the ordinary. And then the eighth gate of Kammasaka Zen serves as an invitation to live this truth, transforming every action into a step on the path of awakening. So, to conclude, the interconnection between the eighth gate, the eighth ox herding picture, the koan, empty handed I go, behold the spade in my hands, the sixth step, the eightfold path, and the fourth perfection. They weave a rich tapestry of Zen wisdom. Because together these teachings, they offer a profound vision, a vision of effort as both the means and the expression of enlightened awareness. Kensho, understanding. And they challenge practitioners to engage with life fully, embracing the paradoxes of presence and effortlessness, emptiness and form. And it's through the practice of mindful effort that we can learn to transcend the illusions of self and other, labour and leisure, and to simply discover the boundless freedom of the way. And it's in this state the spade becomes a sacred tool. The ox becomes a forgotten friend, and every moment an opportunity for awakening. And the eighth gate beckons all who tread the path of Zen to find liberation, not in escape, but in the heart of their daily lives, where the sacred and the ordinary are simply one.